Welcome back to Real Estate Radio San Antonio with Karla and Stan. And all through the show that we look for, if you have any questions, you can text those or call us at 708-3152. Text us to 708-3152. And we'll try and get those questions answered next week or in the future here on realestateradio.sa.com. And sitting next to me today right here is Chase Clement. And Chase, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Chase graduated from Rice University with a bachelor's in sports medicine, was starting quarterback in the UFL with the Las Vegas Locomotives, later led the Locals to the third UFL championship game in 2011, and held a perfect win record in 2012. After his last tryout with the Cowboys in 2013, Chase moved to San Antonio and began working with Nationwide, Kevin McLaughlin Agency, if I'm saying that right, in Alamo Heights, and eventually took over Aurora Insurance Service as their owner and president. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Trace, that's an interesting career path.
Yeah, a little bit. After I got done playing football, got an opportunity to work for Kevin there in the Alamo Heights area, which is where I'm from. So I've got a lot of family members that have been in the insurance business, more on the life insurance side, but it's kind of a little bit in my blood, and so I got the great opportunity to work with Kevin and jumped on it.
That's awesome. I was wondering how that transition was made, but it's kind of,
Yeah, it wasn't easy. I mean, obviously, you play football for a long time, and to get into the business world is a tough transition, but that was a great opportunity to work with Kevin, and obviously just a short year later got an opportunity to own my own agency, so that's really exciting.
That's congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
I just want to say that everybody that we have on the show today, all our guests with Trudy Chapa and Chase, and we're all independent small business owners, and that's awesome. Mm-hmm. So congratulations.
Well, three of you are majority owners. I'm the only minority owner in here. So
are we crying already? So tell us about Aurora's Insurance.
So Aurora Insurance started back in late 2012, and the guy that was running it was actually a former Rice football player, and unfortunately he passed away in April, and so the other partner in it, another guy that played football at Rice. So that was my connection. He reached out to me and asked if I wanted to take over the agency, and of course conversations just continued and led to the opportunity, which started in September.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. Do you serve all over Texas?
We actually do. So the agency was previously in Houston, and so they did a lot of work around the Houston area and the greater Houston area. And of course, me being from San Antonio, that was one of the things I wanted to bring the agency to here to this area. And of course, we continue to service a lot of those homes, and still write a lot of business over in the Houston area. But then we've also got a lot of contacts in the Austin area as well. So we're a little bit all over Texas.
Interesting.
Do you do much traveling for this, or is it all done?
Well, what I have. So I've spent a good amount of time in the Houston and Austin areas, just trying to build some of those relationships over in those areas, and really trying to continue to build our agency really more on a statewide level versus just here in San Antonio.
Right. Mm-hmm. Cool. So what sets you guys sets Aurora apart from other insurance carriers? I mean, what makes? I know you're a broker,
right?
Is that right?
No, it is, and I think that's one of the biggest things is that we are an independent agent, and what that means is that we represent a number of different insurance carriers. Mm-hmm. So unlike your State Farm, your Farmers, your Allstate, if you get a policy with them, that's who you're going to be with. And so if rates rise and you either have to pay the higher premiums, or you have to spend the time to go shop around. And so a lot of people don't tend to really enjoy that. You got to give out personal information. You got to talk about your home information, your car information. I mean, it's just a lot of paperwork, a lot of time. As an independent, what's nice about us is that if you're with Travelers, for example, and your rates rise, you can call me as the agent and say, I want to try to look at some different rates, and what I can do is just push the button, and it re-rates all the other carriers that we have. Mm-hmm. So very, very simple process. It makes things clean and easy for a lot of our clients. So I think a lot of them really enjoy that. Now that's more on a generic level, but on a personal level, as far as why we stand apart from other agents. Really a couple things. One, education's a big thing to me. When I was traveling around playing football, I had a number of different agents with different companies, and I found that a lot of them never took the time to educate me. It was always about the bottom line premium. And then when I got into the business and I looked at my policy, I realized how bad of coverage I had, and I didn't realize that. As a consumer, you pay your premium. If you get into an accident or something happens, you just think you're covered. Mm-hmm. So that was something that was really big for me when I got into the business, is that I really wanted to spend time educating clients on what they're paying for, what they're getting, because at the end of the day, I don't want to be someone that just sells a policy. I want to be, really in a partnership with you, so that in the event something happens, you feel good about, the policy that we, were able to write for you.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, shopping around, I know that Karla and I, we had our last insurance agent probably for 15 years and never questioned anything. Just the bill came, we told them, got a new car, get this, bought a new house, did this. And so in the last one, and we would open our business and we were shopping a little more. And so naturally we went and got a couple of quotes, and it was a huge difference. Like I think almost 50%, 40% difference on our homeowners insurance. And so, we went back to them and asked, can you lower it? And go, oh, absolutely not. I mean, that's the best we can do. And so, needless to say, we've changed agents, and we're big fans of the brokerage business because that's what we do in our business.
Absolutely.
Too. You said that you get to push the easy button and you get all the quotes. It hasn't come that far in the mortgage business yet. We still have to go through all the rate sheets every morning and find out what the best is. But you're exactly right. Some of those companies that we've had maybe a year ago we were doing business with are no longer.
And it's no different in the insurance industry.
The lowest that they are.
Yeah, I mean, it's the exact same. I mean, some carriers will rate very well, and then should their risk be spread too thin, they've got a lot of claims in, say, a certain area, they end up rising prices. So even if you haven't filed a claim, the company has, and so therefore they've got to raise prices on everybody. So usually when that happens, other carriers are willing to go in there and maybe drop their prices, maybe steal some of that business. So that's a really good benefit that we have in our agency, to have multiple carriers.
I'm just wanting to let everybody know, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Real Estate Radio San Antonio here at 9:30 a.m. The Answer, and our guest today is Chase Clement with Aurora Insurance Services, and we're talking about insurance.
Yeah, and I know education is a big thing for you, and that's what
I like options. I like to give people. I like to empower people, and I think that's what it's a partnership, and I don't want to be dictated to. I want to be given options and let me make my own decisions. And so I think that's huge, right?
It is.
And that was one of the questions I had was, many times we get an insurance policy, just like you said, we don't even know what's on that insurance policy. And a lot of times there's insurance people, like we know in the past, that don't even take the time to educate you on the policy. But that's not what Chase does. Chase wants you want to educate them.
Yeah, that's exactly. So anytime somebody's going through the quoting process, I mean, I really like to go through all the coverages and basically say, here's all your options. This is, a lot of times in my quotes, I'll give everybody the full bells and whistles and in an email. And of course, when we sit there face to face or over the phone, we'll go through line by line. I'll go through and explain everything and say, okay, now there's all of your options. There's all of the prices with it. Now from here, let's customize it to build it around what your needs are and what you want. And of course, that's how you build that partnership. But of course, moving forward, with clients, and I think it's important to review those every, say 2 to 3 years. I mean, I've seen a couple different places where, people will suggest quoting your insurance every single year and re-looking at that. And while I think that's a little bit excessive, I think it's still always good to at least review it, because things change. Times, will just change in your family, or just in your life. You get a new job, you have a new baby, you get a new car. Just different things happen to where obviously you want to review your situation and see whether or not you need to add an umbrella policy, or maybe add a coverage here and there, or maybe lower your deductible from where it was a year ago because you're in a better financial position, whatever. So there's a lot of different reasons why you'd want to maybe review that every 2 years or so.
Interesting.
Well, that's a good part of it. One of the things a lot of people ask, and I even think about myself, is should we be taking pictures of stuff around our house? I mean, if something happens, do I need to have proof of what I really have? Am I wasting my time? I mean, what happens if someone breaks in and they steal that? All of a sudden Karla says, hey, they stole my grandmother's diamond ring, and it was worth, $100,000. I mean.
Well, absolutely. And I think taking pictures, I think that's a good practice to have. I mean, obviously you don't need to get carried away and take a picture of every little thing in your house, but, of course, anything that's worthwhile. Some of the bigger things I think are good, backups to have. But of course, anytime there's anything valued over probably $2,500, that's really when you want to put it on its own policy. So, jewelry's a big one.
Over $2,500?
$2,500. So again, a lot of jewelry is that's probably the biggest one. You've had some art. some different things like that you'd want to put on its own separate policy.
I see.
Usually that requires an appraisal, and that's really something that just to give you a peace of mind versus just hoping that nothing like that's going to ever happen, because obviously that's what the insurance is for.
Mm-hmm. So it has to be. Is it 2,500 that you look at, or 2,500 is a bunch of things? Let's say we got 2 sets of golf clubs and some tennis equipment in the car, and somebody, well, that's an auto thing, but and someone takes that.
Right,
So,
but actually, believe it or not, most people don't realize that if something gets stolen out of your car, that actually gets filed under your home insurance.
Okay.
Because that's actually your personal belongings. So, but things like your couches, beds, furniture, TVs, things of that nature. Those are things you wouldn't want to put on its own personal policy. It's really those fine items, the jewelry, the art, because if let's just be honest. If something happens in the house, worst case, house burns down. How's the insurance company going to know that you had 50,000 of jewelry? I mean, that's a pretty easy thing for people to just say. Well, I had this ring and that ring and this piece of jewelry. So those are the specialty items are the ones you want to put on its own policy.
Right. Okay.
What about a golf cart policy?
Well, there are golf cart policies out there. There are, believe it or not. So you can certainly get that. So Progressive, I believe, is one of my carriers that'll write a golf cart for you.
I've just been informed that we have to have one, and so I hope they're affordable.
No, they're dirt cheap.
Okay.
They're dirt cheap.
Good.
They're dirt cheap.
That saves me a lot of
hassle.
I was worried about that.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, we are about to head into a break. Chase, tell our listeners how to reach you and any additional information you would like to.
Yes, our phone number is 210-945-3535, and our website is www.aurorainsuranceserviceslp.com. So that's Aurora Insurance Services, LP as in Larry Paul.com.
Awesome. Chase will be joining us again, but stay tuned because up next is Treaty Chapa of Chapa Fuller. Treaty is going to be sharing her knowledge on the San Antonio housing market.
And
stay
that's
tuned.
a lot of knowledge coming up, so you won't want to miss this.